The totality of their legislation has resulted in an actual increase in health and numbers of their herds. Put simply, the Utah sportsmen spoke loud and clear on this issue. Their legislature listened, and they are now have available game that they didn't have before. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Capurro.
Thank you.
Next public comment.
Mr. Chairman, Don Mulder, Nevada Wildlife Alliance. This one should be fun. Just to make you aware of a recent Nevada Supreme Court decision that came down about a month ago. A three-judge panel took a look at the Ira Hansen, Jim Wheeler Ethics Commission kerfuffle. And let me tell you what happened. Some of you remember that about 4 years ago, Ira Hansen was cited by NDOW law enforcement for hammering snares too close to a road. He, as I was inclined to do, he decided to contest the citation. One of the things he did was that he asked the Legislative Counsel Bureau for some legal advice relative to snares versus other kinds of traps in an effort to assist his private case. He didn't do it directly. He asked Jim Wheeler to do it for him, since it appeared that that would be a bit of a conflict of interest for Ira to ask directly to LCB about that. And Mr. Wheeler did ask LCB for this information. When Fred Volz found out about it, Fred filed an ethics complaint against both Wheeler and Hansen, claiming that Ira Hansen was essentially using public resources, i.e. the LCB, to further a private legal matter. When that complaint was filed, Wheeler and Hansen asked for judicial review before the Ethics Commission had a chance to have a look, claiming that from such complaints because the legislature polices itself, and I think their statute to that effect. A district judge looked at the case and decided in Hansen and Wheeler's favor, deciding that the Ethics Committee did not have Commission did not have jurisdiction. The Ethics Committee filed an appeal, or rather I should say that the executive director of the Ethics Commission, one commissioner, and their attorney filed the appeal to the Supreme Court contesting the district court's decision. The Hansen and Wheeler, in their response to the appeal, asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the issue because the commission, the Ethics Commission, had not proceeded according to the open meeting law, and that this decision to an appeal had not been done in open session in front of the full commission. The Supreme Court, this three-judge panel, decided in favor of Hansen and Wheeler, agreeing that the Ethics Commission had not acted properly in a prospective manner. It turns out that the full commission, retrospectively approved the appeal, but the Supreme Court's position was that it had to be done prospectively. And the interesting thing to me is that here's some of the verbiage that, I'll read just a slide, that the Supreme Court, the decision affirming the rejection of the appeal, says that the Ethics Committee violated the state's open meeting law by filing an appeal in the case without obtaining approval during a public meeting. And then it further says, since filing an appeal involves the commitment of public funds, we hold that the decision to file a notice of appeal requires an action by a public body, the judges wrote in the opinion, and just as a public body would need to meet in an open meeting to determine other material steps in the litigation process, such as initiating a lawsuit or agreeing to a settlement, it must also authorize an appeal of an adverse determination in an open meeting. So here's why I think you should be interested in this, because, traditionally you guys do legal stuff behind closed doors. But now it appears, at least for now, that maybe you can't do that anymore. When you're talking about spending public money to pay the Attorney General's office for the DAG's assistant on legal cases, you may have to do that in an open meeting. At least that's what it looks like to me. So I don't know if you've heard about this yet. I didn't see anything on the agenda, and the DOW's report didn't include any reference to this case. So I thought I'd bring it to your attention. I have a copy of the case, by the way, if anybody's interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moldy. Further public comment?
For the record, I'm Patrick Donner with the Center for Biological Diversity. I can't be here tomorrow, so I wanted to get on the record for item 18, the letter regarding public lands transfers for Congressman Amadei's office. We support the letter as written. Appreciate the commission being willing to consider taking a stand in that way about public lands. We support keeping public lands in public hands, and the letter appears to be a good reflection of that sentiment, so we support that. Regarding the commercial collection outcome, we would encourage you to have that follow-up meeting in Clark County at the next meeting in September and not waiting until November. We heard emotional testimony today from the folks who do the commercial collecting, and that's great. There are many people in Clark County who feel very emotionally connected to their reptiles, and I think providing that opportunity for the public to be involved would be beneficial to understanding the full spectrum of how the public feels about this issue. And similarly, the outcome of the meeting on Thursday at the APRP committee, it's looking likely that there will be a meeting in which you evaluate the statement, "This commission is opposed to wolves in Nevada." That's a strong statement, and there's going to be a lot of emotion about that. I know there's been discussion in the past about open meetings and trying to get the video links, and that does happen and doesn't happen. I've also heard that it is related to budgetary constraints. There are concerns about spending money to obtain the facilities to do the video conferencing. I would just encourage you to make every effort to get the video conferencing going for that wolves discussion. If we're in Clark County, there's people up here who are going to want to speak. Similarly, if it's up here, most of our population's in Clark County, and Elko too. I mean, folks in Elko are going to feel strongly about that as well, and they should have the opportunity to participate. So any effort that could be made to bring in the video conferencing whenever that discussion happens, I think would, again, promote the robust public involvement that we should be having. Thank you.
Thank you. Further public comment? Come on up.
You brought up something I didn't understand. I thought by motion you guys said you're going to bring this back in November or October, not September. They're going to review it, come up with some regulations on the commercial, I'm sorry, Thomas L. Bentz. On that commercial collecting issue, it's important to me. It was my understanding you directed the department to review 2 options, and then after they get that done, they're going to set an agenda item then to come. Only concern because my noticing is not happening very well right now. So I'm a little gun shy about everything. In September, I'm up here. So it makes it considerably more difficult. I mean, there's no communication where I am. It's difficult, except my cell phone. So if they won't call me, I have nothing. So I was trying to find, did you set it a direct time for when that agenda item has to come forward?
I don't think there was a specific item in the motion that said September, but that is normally when it's going to come back, is to September, the next meeting.
They'll met with us and found out any of that stuff we talked about, like to have a conversation with us to find out what we can do for if they choose to promote anything that might keep it. That can all be achieved by your September meeting?
I don't necessarily think that I'm not sure how that's going to work, but it's going to come back in September. I mean, there's a lot of people involved in it, and the idea is to bring it back to our September meeting and have another discussion on it. I can't answer whether there's going to be a decision made at that meeting, but there will be discussion on it had, more than likely at the September meeting. There's a lot of things that go in line with that we might have a full agenda. If we have a full agenda, it could potentially go to the November meeting. There's a lot of things that are coming down the pipe here that we need to work with.
Were we being asked, maybe I misunderstood completely, were we being asked to be a part of that or not? To be part of this stuff they want to come forward with about seasons and when things are beneficial or not, or is what we have?
I think the discussion is going to be between the department and the commission, and then it will be brought forth in an open meeting, which you guys will be allowed to comment on and provide input to us.
Got it.
at that point.
So we don't need, because maybe I misunderstood, I thought I was asked
I
to
think
contact the biologist about stuff, and I'm thinking I could try and figure out some way to get my schedule worked into this, but, I mean, we're right on.
I think that there was some discussion about that, but I don't think that went into the final motion. But I think, my opinion is, in your best interest, you should probably try and come to that meeting if you see it on the agenda. And we'll know more about that agenda probably in timeline of what, 2 weeks? Probably about 2 weeks, we'll know exactly what's on that agenda.
Okay, that's perfect, thank you.
And it'll be posted online, and you can find it there. Online, or however you need to do it. Thank you.
Do we still put in the post offices and stuff like that?
Okay. Further public comment? Seeing no further public comment, we will return tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., but we also have the commission tour that will start at 4:30. Tony, do you have anything additional on that? Just, we're leaving from here?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just as a quick traffic tidbit, if you go over to 395 from here, it's really challenging to turn left. So you're better off. Right now, we're in between 8th Street and 9th Street. If you go